Variety Pack. Food and friends with Canada's best. From east to west, there and back. Eat North Variety Pack. 'Cause variety's the spice of life.
Okay, we are back with another episode of Eat North Variety Pack. I'm Dan Clapson, co-host Mairlyn Smith, and we have a brand new panelist today. We're really excited. Deepi Harish from Toronto. How are you doing, Deepi?
Very good, thank you. You?
Great. We're really excited to have you on the show. Maybe for people that don't know you out there, do you want to just talk a little bit about yourself, what you do, and why you're happy to be here?
Yeah, sure. So I am a food writer in the city. I write for HuffPost, Post City Magazine, Resto Biz, China Daily, a bunch of different outlets. And I'm also a travel writer. I've been on a few awesome press trips. And I spend most of my time just going to a lot of cool events where they showcase new restaurant openings, new menus, new product launches in the culinary space. And yeah, I'm super excited to be here.
And one thing that I love about you too is that you actually used to own a bakery too, so you have that experience under your belt as well.
Yeah, so I ran a baking business for 4 years, and the reason it ended was just I was a one-woman show, man. I was doing the deliveries, I was baking, I was decorating. It just became too much for me, but I still have my recurring customers, and I'll do orders once in a while. But I honestly spent quarantine basically baking, I would say, every other day. Yeah, the bills are definitely high when it comes to the electricity and heating bills, but yeah, I do it for fun now.
Well, I love it, and we're really happy to have you on the show.
Thank you.
You know, that's a thing actually. It's called COVID baking, and a lot of people were baking for therapy. So yeah, I'm with you. I baked a whole. Well, first of all, I drank a lot of gin, and then I went into the baking. So, but what I'm really finding really interesting right now is that I am so happy that everyone's back in their kitchen cooking from scratch, but even I'm getting sick of that, and I can't wait to get back into a restaurant. And we don't have them open here. I mean, we have Takeout, but I want to go for the experience. I want someone to wait on me. I don't want to wait and get a bag and bring it home. I want someone to do. And so, Dan, have you, DP, have either one of you had an experience yet?
I haven't, because in Alberta, as of last Thursday, they opened restaurants. I think we talked about this last week as well, but the Calgary area was delayed because of our number of cases in the area are significantly higher than they are in basically everywhere else in the whole province. So I haven't yet. I do miss the dine-in restaurant experience. I think at first there's a lot of independent restaurateurs right now that are talking about being cautious about the reopening. Many are not going to reopen or reopen a completely different concept because post-pandemic dining might be, too sterile and just not as exciting as what we're used to. But that said, Vancouver actually just opened restaurants to 50% capacity this week. There's not a ton of independent restaurants that chose to reopen. It's mostly, I would say, restaurant groups and chains. So I think the smaller guys, again, are just sort of waiting to see how the bigger companies do it first and then go from there. But you know what? I think come next week when Calgary will hopefully have restaurants open, I am willing to go give it a try just to see what it's like. How about you, DP?
I mean, I'm with Mairlyn. We're in the same area, so that hasn't happened. But what I do like about this time is that a lot of these restaurants are getting really creative with their takeout options. For example, one of my favorite new restaurants called Hana. It's in Yorkville, and it's a pricey restaurant. You're paying upwards of maybe $300 a meal for 15 courses. It's a kaiseki restaurant, and now they're offering very affordable bento boxes for pickup. And like Areta, I'm sure you know Mairlyn. Areta's doing it's an Italian restaurant on the King West Strip, and they're known for their pizza and pasta, but they're offering kits so you can go home and make everything. So I mean that's what I'm doing so far, but like you, I'm so excited to just have someone make me a meal. Like I really just want someone to make me a meal.
My husband and I were watching television this morning, and on CNN they showed this really creative outdoor restaurant where everybody's in a big tire with wheels on it that is 6 feet, so that so it's like bumper cars, and so
is this a real thing? Is this real?
Speaking of creative, like that, like I would just go to bumper car people, I mean, I'm in. So I'm looking forward to people's creativity around the situation. And I think if anything, this word pivot, which is now wasn't even in my, I used to be a dancer, and that was the only time anyone told me to pivot. Mm-hmm. But, this is like we're pivoting. I'm seeing pivoting all over the place. So I'm really excited for the change, and I don't want it to go back the way it was. I want it to be a brand new world. So I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah.
Wait, back to bumper cars. Are they wearing helmets?
Where are the
Yeah.
No, there's
what's the deal with these bumper cars? Could you explain them, please?
Yeah, like are they wearing? Because that's what we have to do when we're in those cars.
Yeah.
Well, no, they're standing, and it's like they have this walker around them, but there's this massive, like a tray around them, and then there's like tires,
Okay.
and then you walk around on it. It was hilarious. So anyway, yeah.
Okay, well, we'll see if any bumper car restaurants open up over here in Western Canada. I'm not sure if we'll see one, but I will let you. You'll be the first to know, Mairlyn, when we do.
Okay.
One thing that's come out lately, I've been talking about them a lot in the past week, is, it's mid-spring now, so Fiddleheads are the thing to cook. Have you guys cooked them before? Are you familiar with them?
I am. I did a show once where we argued what was better, asparagus or fiddleheads.
Mm-hmm.
And I love fiddleheads, but I'm always, I think people cook them wrong, and that's why they don't like them.
Right.
So they've either like cooked the bejesus out of them, or they're just like yuck. Or
right.
So yeah, how do you cook yours? Because I'm a fan. What do you do with yours, Dan?
Well, it's interesting because I had always thought you should rinse them, or soak them, rinse them, blanch them, and then cook them. But apparently blanching them is not enough. I guess the Health Canada, or whatever the proper term is for the National Governing Board for Health Services, they've said that when you're making fiddleheads, you do have to cook them for longer than a blanch before you put them into another cooking application to get out the toxins. So I actually just found that out the other day, and it really surprised me because I've been doing my due diligence by rinsing, soaking, blanching, and then sauteing or then roasting. But apparently you do have to give them a couple minutes longer in the boiling water than just a simple blanch. But I agree with you. When you overcook fiddleheads, they are terrible. They're mushy and they're gross. They even get more mushy than asparagus does. So I do think you have to be a bit more tender with them. And one of my favorite ways to cook them, again, once I blanch them for a little longer, is, gotta really stress that, I like putting them in risotto. I think risotto is a fun blank canvas. There's a lot of ingredients you can toss in towards the end, and a fiddlehead is something you can do. So when risotto is about 5 minutes from being completely done, I would just put in the blanched fiddleheads and just let them cook through a little bit more, and you end up with something that still has a decent amount of texture, and also that nice green color, because they can also turn kind of gray when you overcook them as well.
Right. And I think that's what people have done, is that they overcook them because they are afraid of the toxin, but there is like a number. I think it's 2 minutes on boil. So blanching is just like a plunge, where boil is let them sit and be one with water.
Yes.
So you really want to do that because, you don't want to get sick right now.
No.
I mean, we don't want to get that kind of sick.
No.
So. What do you use them at all, DP?
Oh no, I've never made them myself, but I've definitely had them on the side of like a nice juicy piece of veal. But Dan, I never thought about putting it in risotto.
Mm-hmm.
I love risotto more than anything. Yeah, and it works, huh? So is it still crunchy? Are you cutting them up because they're tightly wound, whimsical little vegetables? Are you?
I feel like
you leave them?
that's a good tip. I would say never cut fiddleheads, because the point of the fiddlehead is that they look neat because they're these cute little green coils. So if you are chopping them in half or quarters, it's almost like you may as well just be fine chopping asparagus. What's the point?
Right.
And half the fun of fiddleheads is the fun of finding them. I went to 4 grocery stores. In hindsight, I probably should have called them first, but and all of them were sold out until I went to the 4th store, Italian Center Shop in Calgary, and they did have some, but very few left. So it's interesting to see it be a hot commodity, but I think it is because it's really the first fresh piece of produce that is locally grown or foraged that we can find. So I think people are just so eager to eat something that is locally grown and fresh that fiddleheads they're the it ingredient in May for sure. And
does it only grow in May?
You can definitely find them into June for sure. I think that depends on where you are in the country, really, right? I think when you're in BC or Vancouver Island, they're so far ahead of us growing season wise. Barely snows in Vancouver Island, so you can probably find fiddleheads quite regularly there. But, excuse me. I think it really depends where you are. But you could definitely find them fresh up until, I would say, mid to late June.
Right.
Nice.
And the season right now in Ontario is so different. So like my neighbor's rhubarb, which I'm going to steal soon, is it's just like about this high, right? So and like right now last year, I have a picture of me and they were like double the height. So we've had a colder spring, and so everything's messed up. We'll just go with it's new and different, and
Yeah.
right on.
Yeah, that's the case.
Speaking of new and different.
Yes.
So have you guys at all noticed that now that the measures are a little more lax, are you guys having gatherings with people? Are you noticing friends and family having gatherings, wine hangs in the backyard, barbecues? Mairlyn, what do you think?
Well, I live in a really neat neighborhood where we all kind of gather outside. A lot of us go out at 7:30 to honor our healthcare workers, and I beat a drum. My husband's bashing up an old pizza pan, and there's neighbors all around, and quite often we'll all visit after that. Or one of our neighbors turned 70, and we had like a party on the street where everybody social distanced at the front of their houses with wine and alcohol. And I had a big sign that said "Honk, it's the old guy's birthday." And so anyone who drove down the street was honking. It was so fun. As a matter of fact, I want my birthday to be like that, but it's in March, so it'd be too cold anyway. So.
And yourself, Dan?
I definitely have the luxury of having a small backyard. So now that we've had it set up, cleaned off the outdoor furniture, we do feel comfortable having some people over in the backyard because you don't even have to you don't have to walk through the house. You can just come in through the side lane, sit down. My friends have even been bringing their own chairs. Again, I'm not having a raging party with 40 people, but I am definitely comfortable with having, 8 to 10 people appropriately spaced out for drinks. And we always joke that as soon as you have to pee, it's time to go home. So we keep these visits.
And you know what? We were just talking about this the other day. I think this is the new COVID entertaining, is that you invite people over. They bring their own chair, they bring their own alcohol, they bring their own dinner, they bring their own everything. And as soon as they have to pee, they have to get the hell out. Yeah. So I think it's the new COVID, and I'm so excited about entertaining like this going forward.
No, I agree 100%. And it's been interesting too. I'm not sure what it's like in other major cities, but in Calgary now, there are a couple initiatives that are seeing musicians being hired for front yard or backyard performances, which I think is great because we're going to talk a bit later in the show to both Katie Rox of Nice Horse and then Shantaia, a singer from Saskatoon, about how they've been struggling with getting to have any work really during COVID. So I think that is an interesting solution. And now that it's warmer out, you can feel comfortable having a musician maybe in the corner of your yard, some friends over, and you're supporting the arts while you're having a good time and in an appropriate distance, which I think is great. But to pivot, I love the word pivot. I've written it and said it 1 million times in the past 2 months during COVID. But I think that it's time to bring on our very first guest. I'm really excited to have her. She is a plant-based chef based out of Halifax. Her name is Lauren Marshall. She's the owner of Real Fake Meats, which is a vegan butcher shop and deli concept in downtown Halifax. And let's bring her on here to say hello. Lauren, how's it going?
Hi, good.
How are you? How's life in Vancouver? Or not, I need to get that West Coast out of my mind. How's life in Halifax?
Well, life is different, but it's good. Yeah.
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 Great. Just hanging out
Can't
today
complain.
in the shop. So,
Lauren, when I first saw you come in, I'll ask you when you get into your kitchen, but I really like the wood behind your head.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it later when I get to go into your kitchen. Okay, so how long have you had your Real Fake Meat shop?
About 1.5 years. Yeah, but the business has been alive for 2 years. We just we're on the main ambulance line here, so gonna hear that go by. So we began our business without a brick and mortar store, renting kitchens and selling boxes before we had our store about 1.5 years ago. But we actually have been around for 2 years. We just did 6 months kind of in the air, so to speak.
What I love about Real Fake Meats is that you do so many interesting plays on popular meat products, and obviously you do all vegan, mostly with seitan, and it's just really, the things you create are really interesting, and in particular you have a vegan donair, and it's become quite a bit of a cult hit in Halifax. You want to talk a bit about that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's really how I started the business. Was cooking, wanted to make something for my friend for his birthday, and he said, I really wanted some veggie donairs. I want some like a good meaty donair that doesn't have meat in it. Obviously, I was the one that they asked because it just made the most sense. And as we ate it and enjoyed his birthday, we just thought, well, why can't you just go out and get one of these, or something that's more authentic but still is plant-based? And that's really how it all began. And up until now, we have our little Coast Awards that happen for like local businesses, and we actually made it as the 3rd best donair in the city, which isn't too bad because every shop
place has donair, yeah,
version of it here. And to be recognized as the best donair, but also it's plant-based, it just happens, to be in that category. It's pretty great, yeah.
Can I ask?
Can I put that in? It's like, we all know what a donair is, but what's a donair? Like, tell the rest of the people what the heck, because I didn't know what a donair was until I moved to Toronto. So I'm from Vancouver. So, okay.
So it's pita with a spiced meat. And you would see that as like a gyro. Usually you see like tzatziki on it. But here in Nova Scotia, we use sweetened condensed milk and vinegar. And that makes a sweet sauce for the meat instead of like a yogurty type sauce that you're more used to, maybe at a pizza shop out west or even in Toronto. And then just tomatoes and onions on pita. So it's very simple. But our take on it is that sweet and sour type sauce. So I just make my own condensed coconut milk, and that's real. That and meat obviously is the only real difference between that and what you'd find at another place that was serving like a meat version. Yeah, very simple. It's like 4 ingredients.
The co-host couldn't see, but I was showing some pictures of your food while you were chatting, explaining it.
Okay,
but I have had that vegan donair, and it's delicious. I think that the key to having a good donair meat, it's donair is never about like, perfectly cooked medium rare meat. The donair is on a spit. It's like, it's not always tender. So I feel like the most important thing to get the flavor of donair is the spice mix. And I feel like that's what you do really well, is you capture that. And the texture of it, if you've ever had, even shawarma is comparable, right? They're shaving it off, so you get like the crispy bits and whatnot. And I feel like in a vegan donair, you're still getting that, you're feeling that richness and fulfillment from it. So I think it's a delicious dish.
Dan, thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
How do Mairlyn and I get a hold of that? We're in Toronto.
Well, when those travel restrictions let themselves up, unfortunately right now, I have a 500 square foot space that's my storefront and my kitchen. So my capabilities to send product out of this province just aren't there because my demand here is so high. But, give me some time, work some magic. So then we'll get it to you. But I'll secretly send you some, obviously. Talk after this.
Deepi, do you have anything in Toronto that's similar to real fake meats? Have you tried plant-based meats before?
Funny thing is, okay, well, because I'm more of a baker, I've tried so many plant-based baked goods, but I actually went to PC hosted this, it was like this luncheon, and everything was plant-based. I had plant-based filet mignon, and that was unreal. And it was also, it was just, I can't recall what it was made out of. I want to say it was made out of seitan. But with these dinners I've been going to, I've tried some pretty interesting things, and they're all with chefs that own restaurants in the city. So I think they're all trying to get a little more creative and accommodate more dietary restrictions. But the baking world has come such a long way with their plant-based like goodies. I'm so picky when it comes to baked goods, and I've never been disappointed with these new companies that are coming up with cool things.
Lauren, have you?
My only big worry about is people who have nut allergies, and I know a lot of vegan, the protein is from nuts, and I'm really only allergic to peanut. But if it may contain peanut, that's the problem too. So, do you use mostly cashews, or what nuts do you use, Lauren, for most of your stuff?
For my meat, but a lot of wheat-based meats. And also non-wheat based, tofu based. So I kind of mix it up, and I try to do a little bit of everything. I actually don't use peanuts at all. So there you go, you're safe. But yeah, a lot of my cheeses have cashews, but I like to switch it up. Some cashew based, some oat milk based, some almond milk based. I try to kind of create things with different ingredients to have variety for myself, because it keeps me stimulated, but also variety for the customer too. A little bit of everything, yeah.
And I like it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be cooking with you. Well, Marilyn's gonna be cooking with you in a little bit here. And what are you two gonna make?
Cheese balls.
Okay,
Yeah. So like a cashew-based cheese ball. Yeah.
I love it. That sounds good. So,
I wanted to be surprised. So when I
oh,
get into
sorry.
your kitchen, I'm going to pretend I never heard that. Okay.
Okay. Sorry, that's my bad. Completely my bad. I always wreck everything. I'm sorry. Well, well.
We're used to it. We're used to it, Dan.
Thanks. So, Lauren, we're gonna let you get set up for that cooking segment, and we'll see you in a little bit. So, thanks so much for sitting down and chatting with us beforehand.
Thank you.
All right. Look forward to it.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye. Lauren's great. I love her energy. She's such a fun chef.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
was a winner. No, was she a finalist? Like, how does that go on Top Chef Canada? She was, because I met her when I was hanging out with you once.
Right.
And I love her energy. She's so funny.
Great. And she makes vegan food approachable, which I love, and fun, and it's engaging because vegan food is, not just for people that are vegans. It's for people that just want to eat good food sometimes. And I think if you make good food, anyone will like it. And Lauren is an amazing example of someone who makes really tasty things that everyone can enjoy. But for what your previous question, Lauren was on Top Chef Canada season 4, which was quite a while ago now. I think close to 5 or 6 years ago. And she made I'd say middle of the way, I would say. I don't remember the exact placing, but she was actually the first vegan chef on any Top Chef franchise to ever compete. Since then, there's been a few. Whoa, I knocked my mic. Since then, there's been a few. But it's great. And it's great to see what she's done with her business in Halifax. And I look forward to seeing what she makes with you too, Mairlyn.
Me too.
Yes.
Oh, you're saying about peanuts. So the good thing I've noticed about plant-based goods, they always have on the label, they are very clear about whether it was made in a peanut facility or not. Like their labels are very clear, whereas that doesn't happen with non-vegan stuff. They kind of dilly-dally around that. But I think because they have to be because there are so many people with all these restrictions, it's not against.
I think legally now you have to say if it may contain peanuts. There's so many people that are anaphylactic. I don't even know if I am anaphylactic because he said, well, we won't know until you have one. So it's like, okay, I don't really want to try this. So I have an EpiPen, but I don't want to have to use it. So.
I was watching the news last night, and apparently it was hard to find EpiPens lately because of the pandemic. Apparently people were hoarding them, so they've come out with a secondary allergen relief device, I guess. Anyway, it was interesting. So have you struggled with that? That was just something I saw kind of last minute last night.
No.
Okay.
Because mine doesn't expire until June, so maybe I better get on this. Yeah. Thanks for the heads up.
There you go. Dan Clapson, always here to help. So now I'm going to run down to my kitchen because we were going to make some cocktails now. A summer-friendly cocktail with Katie Rox of Nice Horse, which is an amazing country band with members that actually live all over the country. So they haven't been able to practice together or spend time together except virtually right now because of the pandemic. But they have a new single out. It came out a couple months ago. It's called Hot Mess, but they just released a brand new music video this week, which features 2 of my favorite people, Trixie Mattel and Jezebel Bardot, which are 2 drag queens. Very exciting. And I love the way that they incorporate, first of all, just like women empowerment, but also very LGBT friendly energy that they put out through their music and through this music video. So I'm going to play a little clip of this music video, and then we're going to go into the kitchen with myself and Katie, and we're going to make a boozy iced tea that I hope everybody will like. So see you in a bit.
I thought it was tomorrow. Didn't lock the door again. Just let yourself in, and if you could feed the cat, that would be oh so. Daddy says raise some hell. Mama says apply yourself. Preacher thinks I need a little help. I'm just a hot mess. That's just the way it is. I call it a success. If I get out the house half dressed, oh, I could get my shit together, but this is too much fun. No, you can't get this kind of crazy with just anyone. Hot mess. I'm just a hot mess. Woo-hoo.
That was an amazing video. I can't wait to watch the whole thing. So that video for Hot Mess is out right now. And now we're in the kitchen. Well, I'm in my kitchen, and Katie Rox from Nice Horses in hers. Hey, Katie.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm good. This is so fun.
Is it as rainy in Vancouver as it is in Calgary today?
No, I've already been out for a walk on the seawall. They're saying it's going to rain today, but it's a nice day so far.
Well, you're luckier than us over here for sure. And so why don't you tell me a little bit about this song? I know the song came out a couple of months ago, but now you have this amazing new video featuring Trixie Mattel and Jezebel Bardot, two phenomenal drag queens.
Yeah, absolutely. The music video honestly is inspired by a true story. And you were there, Dan, when we when we opened for Trixie, and a couple of the girls were her backing band as well. When we were backstage getting ready for the show, there were other drag queens back there as part of the whole thing, and they were
There was a whirlwind back there.
They were giving us style tips backstage. Like it was like, girl, those aren't the right kind of eyelashes for you, and like telling us how to do our eyeliner. And so we were full on like getting makeup tips backstage. And I was telling the director this when we were tossing out ideas, and she's like, that is a music video, you being taught how to be ladies by a drag queen. So that was the concept behind it, and then we just carried on from there.
I love it. So today we're making a drink inspired by Hot Mess. So I want to ask you, what does the song Hot Mess mean to you and the other girls in the band?
I think it's like our autobiography. It really is. Like,
mine too, maybe. I think.
Yeah, the amount of people who have written notes to us saying, "Hey, thanks for writing a song about me," is like absolutely amazing. So I think it resonates with everybody, and I think right now too, because I think the world feels like it's just a hot mess right now.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's just about thinking you have it all together, but there's always something that you don't have together.
Absolutely. So we're drawing inspiration from a cocktail that I feel like is kind of a hot mess, and also it's based around tea. So we're making a spin on a Long Island iced tea, and I know you told me earlier that two of your bandmates love sipping tea. So hopefully this kind of boozy summery version will be also approved by them too.
Perfect.
All right. So again, when I think hot mess, Long Island iced tea has a mix of liquors in it. It has 6 different liquors in it. So I've dialed that back a little bit today, and all we're using is gin, Campari, tequila, and whiskey, which sort of sounds, again, like a bit of a hot mess. But once we put it all together in this mixture, it's going to be great. So have you ever had a Long Island iced tea before?
No, I don't think I have, and I had no idea that it had 6 different kinds of food.
Yeah, and it does take you back when you look at the recipe for sure. So again, this recipe actually does have tea in it, where the traditional Long Island iced tea does not. It just has a flavor combination that sort of ends up tasting somewhat like iced tea. So why don't we start by putting in a ½ ounce of each spirit.
Okay. Not even noon here. I just want you to know.
I know. It can be your pre-lunch cocktail. How's that?
I'm like, we're on a time zone difference here, you and I. And that's the difference between me drinking at 11 and you drinking at 12.
Exactly. All right. And I know you mentioned that you had a hard time finding Campari because it's so popular, but I know you're working with a different brand of it there. And Campari is just a brand name, so there are a lot of different Italian liqueurs that you can sub out. So if you are trying to make this drink at home and can't find Campari, just ask someone at a liquor store and they can definitely help you out.
Yeah, and I thought that this bottle looked cool, so I was fine with it.
Yeah. I feel like you always need a nice looking bottle or two in your liquor collection, just to sort of feel like you're a sophisticated home bartender.
Absolutely. I don't mean to sound like, did I put this in yet? No, I didn't. I bought this tequila because I thought the bottle was cool.
Well, that is a nice label.
And it turns out
that's a good
delicious.
Tequila, so I feel like you're winning at life today. All right, so we got our spirits in there, and now we're going to add in some Earl Grey tea. So I steeped some Earl Grey, and we're just going to add in about 3 ounces of it.
Yeah. Can I just eyeball it?
Yeah, totally. I feel like if we're making a hot mess themed cocktail, it can also be an eyeballed.
Yeah, that's kind of what's happening over here.
All right, and then we're going to add in just a splash of Pepsi or Coke. Okay. I'm not a huge fan of drinking pop with cocktails, but in this mixture, you are getting a lot of sweetness and a lot of sort of, that kind of, what's the word here? Not quite root beer flavor, but you're getting those kind of spices that are incorporated into Coke or Pepsi added to the drink. And we're going to get that nice iced tea color once we pour it in there.
Oh, amazing. Yep.
Perfect. And last but not least, we're going to put in just a squeeze of lemon juice. So a trick I always like to share with people is squeeze a lemon once you cut it in half straight into your hand, and that will help catch all the seeds.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So there you go.
Well, I don't know, Dan. I have this real fancy lemon squeezer.
Oh, that's fancy. So how about just like a little light squeeze in there? Looks good to me. Awesome. And then we're going to add a little bit of lemon peel. So all we're going to do is take a vegetable peeler and just gently pull off some of the peel, about 2 inches or so. So like this.
Okay.
And all this is going to do is just add a really nice aromatic element to the drink. So again, this is sort of a hot mess iced tea, but this lemon peel is going to elevate it just a little bit.
Make us look fancy.
Exactly.
Okay. My lemon might be a little old. So like that.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, and then I put it in there.
Yep. And that's it. And then we cheers and we drink.
And we cheers and we drink. I'm really excited to try this. Cheers.
Okay.
Yeah, that is good.
Like a summer party in a glass. How's that?
Yeah. It is a hot mess summer party in a glass. This is awesome. And I'm so, thank you so much for making us our own exclusive cocktail.
Oh no, I'm excited, and you're having a Zoom party tomorrow, which we are giving away some tickets or passes to. So if people watch later, we'll let you know how you can do that. But what is it like being a musician right now when you can't perform at event venues or restaurants or bars or anywhere?
It is so hard, honestly. I was really sad. I think I've gotten over it since. Well, not over it, but I mean, I couldn't even play for the first couple weeks when everything happened because it just made me sad, to think that I don't know. And the girls and I in Nice Horse all live in different provinces spread out across the country. So we haven't seen each other since this has happened. And I don't know when I'm going to see them again.
Right.
So it's been challenging. But I also think that it's really required us to lean on our strengths and even try different things that we've never done before. I've been playing alone more than I ever have. So I can't rely anymore on the girls to fill in my mistakes when I'm making them. I'm I kind of got to up my game here a little bit because I don't have them right now. And so I think that when we do come together, I think we will be stronger than ever. But it's been hard. I really miss the girls. I really miss playing for people. I
can only imagine. I feel like your dynamic between the band is so fun to watch online. But now that Vancouver has partially reopened restaurants and bars, are you hearing anything about musicians getting booked anywhere or anything like that yet? Or do you think it's still going to be a while?
There is absolutely nothing so far. I have no idea. And I was trying to kind of see because in Calgary, they're looking at doing something, are they not?
In Calgary, there's been a few, it's not at restaurants though, but there's definitely a few initiatives that are seeing musicians perform privately at people's houses, because now we can have, in Alberta, you can have up to 50 guests somewhere as long as it's appropriately spaced out. So you are seeing those kinds of things starting to happen, but definitely nothing planned with restaurants or bars because we still can't have the dine-in option. So
yeah, and I think we're still limited to groups of 6.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So there's been nothing, but I did go shopping yesterday. I went to Williams-Sonoma yesterday. First place I went to when I could officially go to a store, it was Williams-Sonoma.
And Kate, that's a good thing to talk about. But what was that like? I haven't been shopping aside from going to a grocery store in months now. So
it was strange in that they wanted you to have a face mask, and I still don't have one, but I had a scarf with me, so I wrapped the scarf up, and you're not allowed to touch anything, so they're asking for touchless shopping.
Right.
But they're limiting the amount of people in the store. But it's weird because, I wanted to buy a pizza pan, and then I had to be like, how much is this pizza pan? I was trying to, I couldn't pick anything up to see what the prices were.
Yeah.
I'm thinking if people are going to do touchless shopping, if stores are going to do that, I get it. But I was like, that's going to change how people even have to price things and everything, because I didn't know how much anything cost. But it felt like, I think the store was happy to have people in it. And I definitely am if I'm obeying absolutely the rules, but if I'm told I can go do something, I'm so excited I'm an extrovert. So I want to be out. I want to support the community. I just need to get out for my own well-being. So when they're like, you can go shopping, I was like, gotta go. I'm going shopping. So
yeah, you're right. I think it's interesting to see how these not new businesses, but how these businesses are going to approach post-pandemic shopping, dining, event attending. There's so many things to consider now with all of that. So it's interesting to ponder. So yeah, it'll be an interesting experience for me when I can finally go to a shop like Williams-Sonoma or another homeware store. Because I'd imagine you wouldn't be able to touch things like you used to. You pick them up or run your hand along them as you're walking down the aisles. That's an interesting thing to think about.
It is very strange, but yeah, I mean, whatever it takes to support businesses, and I find one of the things that they are doing here is really trying to make use of the outdoor space. Like we have beautiful weather most of the year, but I was commenting the other day, we don't have a lot of amazing patios. There's a few, but they're talking about really taking a European approach to Vancouver and lightening up our liquor laws to allow people to drink in parks, which people are doing anyways. Like I've seen it everywhere. I might be one.
You know what? I've never done that.
Really?
Oh, God. Wait, can I say that? No.
I'm not gonna say. But they've been, there's 2 restaurants right on the seawall that have been doing takeout booze and drinks, and like you can buy a bottle of wine, they'll give you to-go cups, but they're looking at actually making that a thing so that people can still enjoy restaurants by being outside and have their drinks and everything. And I think it might actually create a very cool vibe in Vancouver that I'm actually looking forward to.
Yeah, it's great. Well, we'll see what happens. And for now, I guess I'll see you tomorrow at the Hot Mess party in Zoom. Again, we'll put out more details about that later, how you can win some access. But thank you, Katie, and cheers to our Hot Mess iced tea.
Cheers. Thanks, man.
Mm-hmm. All right. Bye.
Oh, yeah. Clapson's in his kitchen drinking up the boozy tea. Well, we both got something, didn't we, Deepi?
Yes,
I got whiskey in a teacup. What do you have?
I got some Riesling.
Okay.
Cheers to you.
Yeah, right. Oh, you know what? I bet Clapson's hammered when he gets up here.
Oh, God. Okay. I'm back. What?
Oh,
I'm back with a drink. Not surprisingly. Cheers.
What do you got there?
Oh, cheers.
Oh, you got drinks
Cheers.
too. Okay.
Like, we have stuff too.
There you go. Cheers.
There you go.
Yep.
What are you drinking?
You know, whiskey in a teacup is a genius idea. I know it's a song.
It is a song.
Thing, but I've been doing it forever, so they stole it from me. Just saying. Anyway, okay.
Well, you know how Prohibition. Do you know? Have you been to Cold Tea? Sorry, 1 second. Have you been to Cold Tea? The place in Kensington Market. It's actually downtown in Toronto. But what they did is it's a Prohibition bar, so they actually serve beer in teacups for when, after hours type of thing.
Oh, that's fun. I love that.
There you go. Did they steal that from you, Mairlyn?
Yes, listen. Yeah, 1,000 years old. Anyway, no, I am so going to go down there, as I think that's a genius idea. Anyway, okay, what's next?
What's next? Again, thanks for Katie Rox from Nice Horse for coming on the show. I can't talk today. And we are going to give away a few passes to the Zoom party they're having tomorrow night with Jezebel Bardot and myself. I'm making some cocktails there, so stay tuned for that after the show's wrapped. But next up, I think we have Lauren Marshall all set up to make a surprise dish that I spoiled for you earlier. So I'm sorry for that. But why don't I let you, Mayor? You can head into the kitchen with Lauren. How's that?
Okay, and I'm going to be really surprised and act dumb. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Here we go.
Okay, here we go.
Lauren, I'm in your shop with you virtually. I love it's very earthy and homey and very comforting. I love it.
Yeah, thank you. It's like a little cabin.
Oh, I love that. And I love the wood. You know what? I want to steal that wood. So we'll chat after, okay? I want to know where you got that wood.
Problem.
Okay, good. All right, so what are you going to make for us today?
We're doing something really simple. It's actually something that I'm showcasing in my bags this week. As everyone knows, we have adjusted our businesses a little differently. So this week I'm making surprise bags. So the surprise is out. I'm putting cheese balls in it. Really simple. And now I guess the secret's out. People can see how I actually make them.
You know what? Vegan cheese is like, I've never tried it, but all my vegan girlfriends and my friends are always saying, oh, you got to try it. So I'm getting the scoop from a master chef here. So, okay, you're going to make me a vegan cheese ball virtually. All right.
Cheese ball. So it's not just eaten at Christmas now. It's a full year-round celebration. Everyone loves charcuterie. This is an add-on to a charcuterie board. Meat lovers or non-meat lovers, this can go on your board from now on. Okay. So essentially you can see the finished product. So we got a nice smoky sun-dried tomato cashew cheese. And we just kind of simply put everything into the blender.
Okay, so you got a huge mother one, so you need a really strong one. Did you soak them?
A strong blender is good. A food processor also is good. Processor.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
soaking your cashews makes it a little bit easier on your blender as well.
Okay.
How
long did you soak them for? Soak them in water for how long?
Soaking in water for about 2 or 3 hours. But you can boil for 15 minutes, strain off and rinse.
Okay. All right.
So,
okay.
Either way, if you have a little bit of time, you can think ahead, soak them for 3 hours on your counter, or just throw them in a pot, boil them for 15 minutes, and strain them off.
Okay.
So we're going to drop them into the blender. Again, you can use a food processor too.
Okay. Is that about 2 cups?
This is about 1.5 cups. I'm being the worst with my recipes right now. 1.5 cups, okay? And then to give it lots of beautiful color, we're going to use some sun-dried tomatoes.
Whoa.
So about 2 tablespoons.
Okay, now are these the ones that are sun-dried in oil or sun-dried in just sun-dried?
You could definitely use both. So the oil will make it easier to blend. Okay. If you have the really dried ones, then probably soaking them as well with the cashews would be helpful.
Okay, great. Yeah. All right. And how much is that?
I chopped mine.
Okay, and what is that, about 1/2 cup?
This is about 2 tablespoons, but you want to like really press them into the measurement.
Okay, all right.
So if you were measuring it with a measuring cup, you could do up to 1/4 cup, but 2 tablespoons pushed down works too.
Okay, all right. Because size matters. Remember, we know size matters.
Size matters. Another secret, so it does make the cheese really smoky. So if you don't want like a smoky flavor, you can use like a sweet paprika, but I'm using a smoked paprika.
I love smoked paprika, yeah.
This is good stuff.
How much?
I would say probably maybe 2 teaspoons.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
The more the smokier it is. I'm using like onion flakes, so that's about a tablespoon, or you could use like a teaspoon of like onion powder.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
That's a good flavor there.
Yeah.
Now this is kind of a staple for all vegans out there. Do you know what I'm holding?
Nutritional yeast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like do I win a prize?
Cheese flavor.
Yeah.
So in most of the cheeses that I make here, I put a little bit of nutritional yeast in. So we're looking at about 1/4 cup.
Now we put nutritional yeast on our popcorn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Truffle salt and nutritional yeast on popcorn. Try that.
Yeah. It's so good. Okay. Next ingredient.
Next ingredient, we're gonna do some apple cider vinegar, but you can get creative with what's in your pantry. So let's say you have sherry vinegar, also really good. Let's say you have just lemon juice, that's also works. So some type of nice like neutral acid flavor. So apple cider, sherry, lemon juice, but we use apple cider here. So it kind of goes in everything. It's a easy ingredient to get here in Nova Scotia as we have lots of apples. So
I know, and I love getting the one with the mother. So you make sure you have to shake it up. Yeah, you want to get
raw mummy.
Yeah, the raw mummy. Get that fermentation in your body, girlfriend.
That's right.
Okay.
And this is a raw cheese, so it's perfect for that, right?
Right. What's next? Pepper.
Some salt. So I just have some Himalayan sea salt.
It looks like pepper from here.
I would say about like 1/2 teaspoon to a teaspoon.
Okay. Dying to see how this is going to meld together. Is that it?
Well, the thing that we want to do is set it with coconut oil. Since it's really hot here today, actually in Nova Scotia, this is like at room temperature, but you might need to melt it depending on how hard it is because you want it to kind of fold into the mixture. Okay. But we use the coconut oil like we would if we were making a dressing, so I was putting it in at the end.
Okay.
So
now, if you don't have any coconut oil, get the lid. Where'd the lid go? Where's the lid?
That is a good question.
Okay,
look
for the lid. Go look for the lid. I'm going to ask you a question while you're walking. If you don't have coconut oil, could you use extra virgin olive oil or another fat?
You'd need like a fat that kind of solidifies at the fridge temperature.
Yeah.
So that's why we use the coconut oil. It acts as like a hardener.
Right. Okay.
So
all right.
You
need it.
But if you wanted to turn it into more of like a dip, you put it in like a little ramekin and just use it like a dip. You could totally use like a nice avocado oil because it has like a neutral flavor, or more of a neutral flavored olive oil works too.
Okay.
Or a dip.
Okay. All right. Let's blend this baby up. We've got 1 minute.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, we have the magic of television.
Yes.
Of course,
Okay.
plugging
And
it
the
in.
magic of electricity. My husband wrecked that. I could use the plunger without the lid. And anyway, I just got killed.
And
Anyway,
this is what we say, the magic of television. Now we have it blended into a nice puree.
Lovely.
And then you have to set that in the fridge for about 4 hours.
Okay.
And it turns into a nice cheese ball. So obviously I didn't add the coconut oil. But what I do is I just take it out of the blender after it's been blended and I whisk the coconut oil in so it mixes nicely and then set it into the fridge.
That's fantastic. I am going to try this. I actually have all the ingredients in my house. So you're on, girlfriend. I'm going to try your vegan cheese. Excellent.
Yeah, so you can roll it in nice fresh herbs or you can roll it in crushed or candied nuts. You can get really fancy.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I wish I was there in Nova Scotia, and we're going to talk about the wood on that wall, okay?
Yes, a virtual hugs for now, but soon, hopefully not.
All right. Take care. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mairlyn.
Great. I want that cheese now.
Hi, Lauren.
Yeah, that was great.
Hi, Lauren. So I just have a question for you.
Oh, Lauren's gone now. Sorry,
gone.
but
That's for you then.
yeah. Let's go.
So okay, now that plant-based food is getting more recognition, what's your take on the fact that it's making it into mainstream fast food chain restaurants? Like, have you guys tried it? Do you think it's good? Gross? Dan?
I think it's been interesting to see different fast food chains find success with it and other ones not. Because A&W was one of the first major chains to champion Beyond Meat, obviously, and people really went crazy for it. They've since added it to other sort of menu items, I guess, in different assembly setups. But Tim Hortons tried to do it and it didn't work out at all. And they have now withdrawn Beyond Meats from all locations. So I think that it really depends on the demographic of the kind of person going to that fast food restaurant. Because I would say people that go to A&W are probably, and forward thinking is not the right word, but I do think that A&W is sort of the higher level fast food compared to lots of other ones where I think that maybe people going to Tim Hortons might not be interested in a plant-based option. Whereas I think that people that would be willing to try plant-based food might be more willing to try it from A&W is what I'm trying to say.
Have you tried it though? What do you think?
Oh yeah, it's good. I do always say this, that the reason why a burger, and this is not a commercial for A&W, but the reason why A&W burger tastes like an A&W burger as opposed to a McDonald's burger or a Burger King burger is the taste of the bun and the condiments and everything together. It has very little to do with the actual burger. So I feel like when you swap out that one thing, it's not going to taste that different. So yeah, I've had those vegan burgers from there, and I do enjoy them. I do prefer, classic Buddy Burger or something. Again, I don't want to talk about A&W forever, but yeah, I think it's been interesting to see how plant-based cuisine is now kind of becoming integrated into fast food.
Yeah, and
you know what? Sorry.
Yep. Go ahead.
No, so my spin on that is that I eat a lot of vegan food, I eat a lot of vegetarian.
Right.
I'm very inclusive, but when it comes to a burger, I really want it to be beef, and so I'll get my vegan hits and my vegetarian hits in other ways. But when it's a burger, I want the real deal. Give me 100% Canadian beef. So that's my spin on that. So, and the other one is that Beyond Burgers has got peanut making, so I'm not going to try it anyway. So anyway, that's my spin. But I love Lauren's food. I love that she and with wheat and I get when I do my vegan stuff as well. So yeah, I love her food. Anyway, okay, but I gotta go. So my husband and I share this computer and brain, and so he's taking an online course, and I gotta go. So thank you. So much fun to have our new member Deepi here with us.
Yes,
Great day.
It's been awesome.
Everybody have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you next week.
All right, thanks, Mary. And I'm going to wrap up the show. We have one more amazing guest. Shantaia is a country singer from Saskatoon, so I'm going to chat with her, and then we'll wrap the show up. Hello, Shantaia.
Hi, how's it going?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Great. Thanks for being on the show today. We are pretty big fans of you over here at Eat North.
Yes, I am a fan of Eat North, and Dan, I absolutely love you. I'm so excited to see you.
Great. So what's new in Saskatoon? How's the weather? You know, like I said before, it's pouring rain here in Calgary. Has been for the past few days, and I'm just itching for some nice summer weather.
Yeah, it was really nice for a few days, and then we got hit with a big storm last night. So that wasn't very fun. I had another live stream last night with a radio station, and it was like thundering and lightning and pouring rain like sideways.
Yeah.
So I was just so scared that the power was going to go out in the middle of this live stream and our Wi-Fi was going to drop. So, but today it's sunny, just a bit windy.
Ah, great. And so we talked a bit about this with Katie Rocks too earlier in the show, but you know, obviously since the pandemic hit, musicians have really been stalled with what they can do in terms of performances or even promoting a new single like you have been since the beginning of the year. So do you just want to talk a bit about the struggles that you've had?
Yeah, I was supposed to be going on a radio tour to promote my brand new single, and I haven't released music to radio in such a long time that I was really looking forward to playing some acoustic shows across Ontario and Alberta, Saskatchewan, even BC, we were thinking. So, you know, it kind of just came and hit me out of nowhere. We spent months planning and looking forward to a radio tour and the release of my EP. So, it's not how I pictured it, that's for sure. So we're all just trying to navigate this weird time, and I think we're all just going to come out, like Katie said, stronger from this for sure.
Definitely. And I know this past weekend was the Saskatchewan Country Music Awards, and you said you got to perform at them, but you said it was not the way you envisioned yourself performing. Was it still fun? Did you still feel excited to be showcased on a large scale platform like that?
Yeah, it was really fun. I would have liked to see it like happen like live like this, where you're everybody was in their homes like Saturday night performing live rather than submitting videos ahead of time. I understand that it's a lot to like put together and a lot of performances to fix up. So I totally understand why they did it the way they did. But yeah, I really hope next year I can maybe still perform on that award stage, because it's such an incredible band that backs up every year, and I was just really looking forward to playing with such talented musicians that are recognized every year by the SCMA.
That's great. And your single, which came out in January, I Wish You Would, it's such a phenomenal track, and your EP Chapter 1, I've loved it. You know, there's 4 songs on it. It's a small EP, but it's so quality, and you haven't put out music for quite a while, so you just want to talk about the process of waiting to release that EP and what it feels like?
Yeah, I keep telling everybody it's been a roller coaster ride. 3 years in the making. It was not how I expected, how long I expected it to take, but good things take time, and I'm happy that I waited, and this is my journey. You know, I wouldn't have it any other way. So I'm really excited that just all that waiting, and you know, I'm seeing a lot of really great feedback, and so many people absolutely loving it, and I think it was worth the wait. So I'm really excited that it's out in the world, and people are loving it.
Well, we're happy to have you on the show today. And would you like to play a little song for us?
Yeah, I thought I would play my current single, I Wish You Would. So you can request this at your local radio station, wherever you are in Canada. Even some stations have been playing it, which is really exciting.
Great.
So I hope you guys enjoy.
Take it away.
Your t-shirt in your drawer in my house, and even though I took down our pictures, you're still hanging around. No, I won't call you praying that you're gonna answer, and I ain't waiting by the phone. Not going out tonight, just hoping that I'll see you, but when I'm alone, I wish you would pull up, drive. I hear you knocking at my door. You can't see the look on your face. You wouldn't have to say a word. Lead me down the hall, then you get me up against the wire while you kiss me. And I ain't saying that it's right or that it's good. Sam, I wish you would.
night just hoping that I'll see you. Going I'm alone. I wish you would pull up, driveway. I hear you knocking at my door. Yeah, I'll see the look on your face. You wouldn't have to say a word. Lead me down the hall, then you kiss me up against the wall while you kiss me. And I ain't saying that it's right, that it's good. But Sam, I wish you would. Yeah, I wish you would. Sam, I wish you would. Yeah, I wish you would.
Yes, amazing job.
Thank you.
Fantastic. You know, I'm, as you know, Shantaia, I'm a huge fan of yours, a huge fan of that song, and your voice is just, you know, it's unparalleled, I think, in the country music industry here in Canada. So
Thank
it's
you.
amazing to have you on the show. And I guess we didn't talk about this before, but you are an avid home cook, which I love. You cook a lot at home. I
Yes.
appreciate that.
Some
So-
days I don't feel like it, but
No, I love it. So that brings us to the end of another E North Variety Pack. Again, thank you, Shantaia, for closing us out with that beautiful song, I Wish You Would. We posted a link in our comments. You can find it there.
Awesome.
All streaming platforms, obviously. And Deepi, amazing to have you on the show for the first time. It's been tons of fun.
Thank you so much for having me. It was so much fun.
Great.
Shantaia, you were so great.
All right, we'll
Thank
be back.
you so much.
Thanks,
Thanks
Shantaia.
for having me, man.
Anytime. We'll be back next week. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Eat North Variety Pack. Food and friends with Canada's best. From east to west, there and back. Eat North Variety Pack. 'Cause variety's the spice of life.